Okay, so we're back, and we're gonna. Where did we leave off? We had a technical issue, and I've had a beer, so
we we can just start back at the top of the act, where we get back.
Okay, cool.
We get back from the commercial break, and they're playing poker again. But this time, it's a little bit different. No Doug this time, and you can tell that all the boys are a little bit disturbed that Doug isn't there. But they talk about the wedding, and Alex Alex tries to give them all contracts to contract them to continue to play poker for the next 7 years with him, so that nobody can leave. I thought
that's a little weird.
It is, because Alex isn't a lawyer. He doesn't know contract law, but yet he had like legal yellow contracts for them to all sign.
I mean, 7 years is a long time to be friends with anybody. Let's be honest. That's a lot of. I mean, my God, Corey, this podcast, we'll probably be recording this for another year and a half, 2 years. Would you sign a contract for another 5 past that?
Oh no, I'd kill myself. I'd have to kill myself on that.
Like we'd start doing Spin City after this.
Are you sure you don't want to just cut to the chase and just do the Michael J. Fox show?
Well, wait, just do everything he's ever done, or the actual Michael J. Fox show?
No. If we could get transcripts, maybe we could read the Michael J. Fox show.
How many episodes do they have? Poor the Michael J. Fox show.
13. But there wasn't a single episode that didn't include a few Parkinson's jokes, and I always love those.
Oh, man, yeah. That was too bad. I really hope that was going to go over better than it did.
Boy, and I don't dislike either Tracy or him, but boy, it wasn't Tracy, was it? It wasn't Tracy Pollan with him this time.
It was. I forget the actress's name, but she played Marie on Breaking Bad.
Oh, okay. I totally forget who it is, but she was actually. They were all good. Even thought the kids were good, but boy, that was just a terrible show.
Yeah.
So we're back in the kitchen. They're playing cards, and after the contracts are given out, they all decide that they're just going to leave. That's it. Game's over. And Dad comes in to talk to Alex, and of course, what does Dad need before he can have a heart-to-heart with his son? A nice heaping pitcher of Tang.
Orange juice.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sure it's Tang. It's either Tang or Sunny Delight.
Get the fuck out of here, Corey. No.
Do you remember
You're a liar.
There's an episode, the famous episode of Quality Times with Family Times, when Paul wanted to punch Scott in the face. And then the episode where Corey insisted that it was Tang and not orange juice, and Paul said, "Get the fuck out of here! Just get the fuck out of here!" Maybe it is. Okay,
I'll give it. You're fired.
Not today. Not today, or else it's a monologue. I got over a barrel today. So it comes out while Dad is drinking his, okay, I'll say it for you, orange juice. While Dad's drinking his orange juice, it comes out that Stephen and Elise are going to Doug and Eleanor's wedding as well. So Alex is the only one not going to the wedding. Even Mallory and Jennifer are going to the wedding, and he sort of declares that there is no friendship. The friendship is over, is what he says.
Well, I mean, yeah, how could it not be? That's crazy. Like, first of all, it's crazy that all of the Keatons were invited to the wedding. Like, what? And then secondly, yeah, if you're not going to your best friend's wedding, then yeah, your friendship's probably on the rocks.
Right. So we go into the living room, and Mallory and Jennifer are helping Jennifer practice wearing high heels for the wedding. So there's wedding mania has taken over the Keaton family. They're all getting ready for this giant event. So she wants to wear heels to the wedding. And of course, a knock comes to the door. And who's there but Eleanor? And we can all just imagine what this scene is going to be about. See, in this show, all of the predictability of everything in the show didn't bother me. It just sort of was like, oh, that's the way it's going to go. It's all right. It didn't bother me all that much.
It followed logically. It was like, well, if this is the argument you're having, then of course let's see that.
Right, exactly. And I thought, okay, that was a fairly good scene where Eleanor came to sort of talk Alex into coming to his best friend's wedding. She was pretty upfront.
Yeah, the actress playing Eleanor was like, she was fine throughout the episode. I feel like she wasn't given much to work with at all, but she was good and she held her own and she was interesting. But
they just didn't go that extra route to give her anything particularly fun or funny to do. But I did appreciate the fact that they gave her the straightforward question, so you think Doug is making a big mistake, she says to Alex. And Alex is able to go back into the same routine of he's just not ready, he's an innocent. And then they have that nice bonding moment where they just sort of talk about how quirky Doug is, his bag with all of his stuff in it. And the way he awkwardly walks and socializes with people. They make it seem as though he's on the spectrum somewhere is what they make it seem.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? That was the thing that was shocking to me. Like, where it was like, we've seen him in an episode and a half at this point, and now they're making him into this sort of mental whatever. Like, he has some sort of mental handicap or something. It's just like, whoa.
And I thought, well, gee, now I'm sort of on Alex's side. Maybe he shouldn't get married if he's on the spectrum. I mean, it's like, wow, everybody just take a step back. He's 19. He's on the spectrum. He has he has stuff in his bag like he's going to see Let's Make a Deal. Like, you have a hard-boiled egg in there. What else do you have in that bag? You have a hard-boiled egg.
What do they say that he carries? He carries aluminum cans and wind-up dinosaurs. Like, what?
There's something wrong with this guy. It's like, I'm laughing. Like, wow. Now I understand why he shouldn't get married. This is not going to be a good marriage. What do you want to be, the wind-up dinosaur wrangler, Eleanor? That's what you're going to have to be.
Yeah. And that's the thing that where the wheels start to come off a little bit of like, what is the thing that Eleanor finds appealing of Doug? Like, they make this whole case of how weird he is, but it's like, so then why do you like him?
I think, they touch upon it. He's an innocent and he's naive. And I think that's the attraction for her, but I'm still not exactly sure what's going on. Right. His treasures that he carries with him. But what was nice in the scene is that you did see Alex and Eleanor start to connect and hit it off, which was nice. But they built that into the scene without saying that. They said that later on, but without saying it, we saw what was happening, and that was good. And I thought that was, you didn't dumb it down for me in the audience, and I appreciated the fact that, I could see what was happening there. It was nice. So, she begs Alex to come to the wedding and explains that Doug's feelings are hurt and, please come. It'll mean a lot to him. And Alex digs his heels in like the stubborn little piece of shit that he is and says, no, I'm not coming to the wedding.
Yeah, it's at this point, Alex's reservations become a little weird, where it's like he and Eleanor have started to make a connection between them. He obviously cares very much for Doug for some reason. And it's this thing of like, now it's just, he's just putting his heels in on principle or something, and it makes no sense, and it becomes intractable or something. It's weird.
And he even says after when Dad asks him afterwards, when Steven says, hey, what's wrong, Alex? Don't you want to go to the wedding? And Alex says, no, I don't want to go. And what's even worse, I don't know why. So even the writers were aware that they had to put the words in his mouth, because at this point, he should have really been turned around at this point and gone to the wedding. And he still doesn't want to go to the wedding, and he doesn't even know why. So then they go a little further psychologically, and Steven sort of analyzes, are you afraid of losing Doug? And I think that's sort of an interesting point. That may be the whole point of the episode, that's what happens when people get married. is that you feel that you lose a little piece of them.
Yeah.
Because now they're a couple. Now it's not just a person. You're friends with a couple, which isn't necessarily true. You can still be friends with individuals. You don't always have to be with couples. But, Alex is jealous. He's afraid of losing Doug. He says, I knew him first. I knew him before Eleanor, so he should be my friend. And the bottom line is what Stephen says, is basically, this is part of life. You're growing up. This happens to everybody. And I thought that was sort of sweet, as they always give Stephen something sweet to do. He says, the key to growing up is to accept it all with grace and dignity. And I think that's very true. And
sure.
I thought it was sort of a sweet scene. I thought
this is a crazy question. Do you think that, like, this is 1985 or whatever, and we're talking in 2016 now. Do you think that, like, I feel like if we had, even at this point in the 20 years hence, we'll have a better understanding of sexuality and the Kinsey scale being on a spectrum? I don't know, like young people and their friendships are, can be romantic in a degree when even someone identifies as whatever sexuality they do. And so when you have, episodes of TV like this, it's sort of about that there are, unrequited loves that aren't necessarily things that you act on, but they are important to you. I don't know. I feel like it's like this very old-fashioned idea versus things that we're starting to learn about or discuss now.
Mm-hmm. And I think this whole relationship with Alex and Doug comes out of left field, but I thought within the confines of the episode, I think they sort of deal with it real nicely in terms of Alex feeling alienated by Eleanor's existence, whether it's Yoko Ono or just another woman coming into their life and coming between them. I just thought it was well done.
Yeah.
But then the one moment that really doesn't ring true, and I sort of anticipated it coming up in the wedding scene. We start the wedding, and clearly Alex isn't there at the wedding. So, of course, we who watch the show and analyze it, we sit there going, well, now Alex, of course, is going to show up. When he shows up, is the whole wedding going to become about Alex? Because, I'm old enough to know wedding is about the bride. It's never about the groom. It's never about anybody but the bride.
Right.
Here's Alex is going to come in, and he's going to steal the bride's thunder, the groom's thunder, the pastor's thunder. He's going to steal everyone's thunder. And they actually sort of dealt with it within the scene. They sort of made that the joke. And I thought, okay, I'm all right with the fact that they acknowledged the fact that Alex he tried to hide behind a tree. And it was
yes. And he kept doing like, just go with the wedding. Go do the wedding.
And Doug, who's on the spectrum, is the one who keeps on going, hey, Alex, come on over here. We're getting married.
It's true. That's actually really funny.
Yes. Hey, everyone, look, it's my buddy Alex. He was supposed to be my best man. Clancy, you're fired. Alex, take his spot.
Oh, man.
It just becomes sort of a really silly scene. Once again, I'm questioning Doug's ability to get into college and to excel in college. I'm not really sure how that works. He seems to be slightly...
I completely agree. Yeah, the scene... The cuteness of Doug and the way that he responds to everything in such a literal fashion really sells the scene in a way that otherwise, if they had just gone a traditional Family Ties route, would have been like, what's going on? I don't understand the reasoning here. But because he's so outside normal manners or ways of acting, it makes it really fun to watch.
It did. It was sort of funny. And that whole last scene was sort of like, okay, I had no problems with it at all. I thought it was sort of kind of funny. Alex was sort of playing like, please don't pay attention to me. It's your wedding, and I'm so sorry I did this to you. And then he does that pose in between the bride and the groom, and the justice of the peace has to go, the two of you are the ones getting married, right? Oh, yeah. And then just sort of, he moves over to the side, and everyone applauds, and it's the end of the episode. It was like, okay, I thought that was handled pretty nicely.
Yeah. It was a very lumpy episode, but it was cute, and there wasn't a moment that I was either bored or like annoyed. It was just fun to watch.
And proof, the proof is always in this piece of paper, which does not say kill me, shoot me, or I want to die at any point during this episode. I always think, really, I can actually trust my own notes and know, oh, nothing really pissed me off in this episode. It was just fine. I thought there was enough good lines in it. There was enough good performances in it. It was, you're right, lumpy, but ultimately just fine. It settled in a very nice place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't look at IMDb, but I hope Timothy Busfield comes back. I'm sure he probably doesn't, but it just, he's a fun character.
My guess is that he doesn't, knowing them, the way they do things, and yet I would hope that he does, because now you've created this really interesting character. Wouldn't it be great to interject that into yet another storyline?
Yeah.
Instead, they'll give it to Skippy.
Anyway,
and,
so, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a very similar character to Skippy, but instead of being annoyed by Timothy Busfield, they enjoy him. So, like, Skippy's always annoying, but with Doug, he's always endearing.
Yes, which is really strange because they both have the same qualities. Mm-hmm. Except one of them is directed more at Alex, and the other one is directed more at Mallory.
Right. Yeah, well, we'll see. But let's wrap this up. This Sans Scott episode. We missed you, Scott. So that was our episode. So rate and review our show on iTunes, please. Honestly, it will make a huge difference in our lives. Corey has been so sad lately, and just a rate and review on iTunes would cheer up his whole week. For questions and comments, email us at qualitytimewithfamilyties@gmail.com and follow us on Twitter at QTWFT for updates. I'm at Paul Packler.
I'm at Corpep, and Scott's at Follow Jones.
Wow, you did that from memory. That's really impressive.
I remember.
Like us on Facebook. We have a page on Facebook, and you can follow all of our updates if you like us, either in life or on Facebook. We'd like to thank our host and producer, Barbara Dillon at Fanboy Comics. Fanboy Comics is an online conglomerate of geek media, providing its readers with daily reviews, interviews, and podcasts that span the pop culture spectrum, like our own. And you can find them at www.fanboycomics.net. Also, Perry Adams, who beautifully performs Family Ties and our theme song Without Us. Check her out at www.perryadams.com. There's one D in Adams. Also, Bryant Dillon, who created our fantastic drawing and artwork, as well as edits our show. Thank you, Bryant. Bryant is the president and co-founder of Fanboy Comics, and follow him on Twitter at Comic Book Slayer. And also, Sean Foster, Fanboy Comics graphic designer, for designing our logo. Corey, how did I do? Was that all right?
That was really good. It was slower than what Scott does, and I sort of understood the meaning of what you were saying this time, too, and that was nice. Scott, maybe you should listen to this a few times also.
Remember that time we were going to Las Vegas, and I was staying at your house, and before we left, he was coming over, and you had me read the phone book. And he comes walking in, and you were laughing because I was so funny.
Kill me. That's funny.
All right, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Funnier than that. Fabulous. Bye.
Bye.